What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate, reverse rant, no hate. Now, I'm doing this video to give a simple and quick explanation about the difference between Anthony Joshua, Joe Joyce, and Dillian Whyte. So, a question was asked, why do I think that Joe Joyce looking the way he did and Dillian Whyte looking the way he did is any different from Anthony Joshua? It's common sense if you saw the fight. It's real simple. Anthony Joshua, his issue was never his physicality. It was never he physically can't throw a certain amount of punches. It was never, oh well, he doesn't have the ability physically, to get the job done. You watch him at his peak, right? At what we saw as his peak, put it that way, before he started, fighting himself in the ring, before he got to the point where he finally lost a fight and now he's doubting himself. Now he's trying to fight a style that doesn't suit him. That's Anthony Joshua's issue was psychological. It never had anything to do with he physically can't do it anymore. His skills are deteriorating. His reflexes are gone. The speed is no longer there. The footwork, that was never his issue. So this isn't even a hard question or anything hard to understand. But I'm putting this out there because you hear a lot of different stupid narratives about, from people who don't like the guy, for people that want to see the guy lose. I don't care what the fighter is, who the fighter is. Reality is reality, okay? He tried to fight Usyk in a style that doesn't suit him, and he tried to fight in a style that he's going to make fights harder for himself than they need to be, even when he wins. Now, the Anthony Joshua that just fought Francis Ngannou, the Anthony Joshua that fought Otto Ali, if that Anthony Joshua fights Jermaine Franklin, if that Anthony Joshua fights against Robert Helenius, okay, it's even a completely different fight than the way it went. He dominated Jermaine Franklin. It's just that he did it in a cautious way and it wasn't so much of he's cautious, which any fighter should be. Okay, but he's cautious to the point where I'm boxing and outboxing Franklin. Okay, Anthony Joshua went from punching through the target to just punch the target. Okay, let me give you an example. He's trying to be more of a Larry Holmes. Let me just work behind the jab, jab, keep it long. But he's not the type of fighter like. He has things that Holmes don't have, like incredible power, a longer reach, bigger, stronger, taller, okay? The reason most boxers are so technical is because they don't have devastating power. They don't have any one particular thing that they depend on to win. It's all their skills combined. So it's more of an accumulation. Now, it's not that they can't punch. It's not that they don't have good power. It's just that, hey, why rely on one thing and they take pride in being an excellent boxer? Okay, let me give you an example. Lennox Lewis. He was straight up a brawler. He was a puncher. He was a guy that went in there, you could say he was a boxer puncher, but Emmanuel Stewart taught him how to perfect it. Okay, he was a boxer puncher, but he brawled a lot. He mixed it up a lot, before he got involved with Emmanuel Stewart. Okay, he still had a loss to Hassan Rahman, which he avenged, even under the tutelage of Emmanuel Stewart. But bottom line is, boxer puncher that was taught to perfect his boxing punching style. Larry Holmes, a pure boxer. Muhammad Ali, a pure boxer with crazy athleticism. Okay, Roy Jones, boxer puncher. Sugar Ray Leonard, he's a boxer with power. A pure boxer with power. Okay? Floyd Mayweather, a pure boxer. Marvin Hagler, a boxer brawler. Marv could actually box. Thomas Hearns, boxer puncher. Okay, so Anthony Joshua was trying to be something that he's just not, and something that basically just worked against him even in victory. Okay, because like I said, that style made fights harder than he needed to be. Even though he's winning fights in a fashion that people found to be boring. Okay, which is one of the reasons why people wrote him off and was saying, for him to beat Ngannou, he's going to have to hit and hold and run. That's what they said. Is that what happened? No. They looked at the Robert Helenius fight. Well, Wilder did it in one round. You know, it took AJ 8. Okay. Well, isn't it funny how the majority of the talk that we hear about Wilder is based on what? The excuses he made, right? About the Parker loss, but people don't want to give Parker his props. They still want to credit it to anything other than Parker was the better man to this very day. This is what they're trying to do. Now, Anthony Joshua, the fight against Robert Helenius, the fight against Jermaine Franklin, all of these fights, the Usyk fights, the wins, the losses, the different trainers, all of those things rebuilt him to what he is now. Now, if you look at Joe Joyce is not fighting himself in the ring. He's not stuck in between styles, not sure about what he's supposed to do. Joe Joyce is just simply, he's in a position of, you could see, he lost two key things that made him the juggernaut. One, the volume punching, and two, he's not working behind his jab the way he used to. And usually when guys abandon the jab and start going for nothing but power, it's simply because not only was he trying to look impressive, okay, against Cash Ali, he basically was to a point where the volume punching not being there, it's best I try to knock this guy out. I'm pressuring him, but I'm not coming in behind the jab like I'm supposed to. That's desperation. Okay? And pretty much, the jab is basic. That's the first punch you learn to throw. Okay? That's the first punch you learn to throw, any fighter. So, when you see those things gone, and he's moving his hands and trying to roll his head, he's trying to be defensive, but in that sense, he's still getting hit just as much as he always did. Okay? So, Joe Joyce's best defense was his offense. Okay, what made him special is the things that he had that he wasn't special. He had no special boxing techniques and skills. He just had this ability to take punches, take punishment, keep coming, wear you out, and get you out of there. That's what made him special. It wasn't like I said, he was some crafty fighter that, oh my God, I love watching this guy fight. It was just, how the fuck does he keep doing this? And I told you guys, he's going to run into somebody that can punch and they're going to knock him out, and that's what happened with Zhang. Not once, but twice. I didn't think it was a fluke the first time. Zhang shut everybody else, up in the rematch that thought it was a fluke. Now, that all being said, Joe Joyce, he simply does not have that volume punching on his side, and he's not jabbing, working off the jab, and usually off that jab was constant movement, constant pressure. And the fact that you don't see him doing that right now, well, that just goes to show you that right now, where Joe Joyce stands, he's gonna get knocked out again. Cash Ali was meant to make him look good. The same with Dillian Whyte. Okay, Christian Hammer was meant to make him look good. And what they both have in common is neither one of them look good. Now, you can't look good in front of these two guys. These are two of the worst heavyweights that you can fight. Okay, they're two of the lowest tier fighters that you can actually fight, that you can say, well, I've heard of them. Most people don't even know who these people are. But there's nothing about them that you remember. I remember Christian Hammer losing to Luis Ortiz, and it's like I always told you guys, man, Luis Ortiz is decent. He's decent. Dillian Whyte went in there and basically missed so many punches and looked terrible. He's coming forward. He's the aggressor, but he's missing most of his punches. He's throwing wild, sloppy punches. His punches are wide. You can see that he's never had footwork, okay? And Dillian Whyte has never shown a high ring IQ. What Dillian Whyte has always shown was heart, determination, and grit. And if you're flat-footed, you understand what I mean? He looks even better. So you know, and you know, Dillian Whyte likes to mix it up. So basically, it's like, well, Dillian Whyte comes to fight, pretty much. There's anything really special about his skill set, okay? But Dillian Whyte, you could see, like, nah, he's just slow. I don't care how sharp you try to be, okay? Sharpness doesn't mean faster. Sharpness doesn't mean you have better footwork. His punch placement, you know, his timing, his understanding of what punch to throw, when to throw. Like, Dillian Whyte is done. He's not fighting on an elite level. This has nothing to do with just a layoff, okay? The same way with Joe Joyce. These guys are in the same boat, okay? Physically, they're deteriorating. They're not what they used to be, and they're both far too easy to hit. They're way too easy to hit. You see no resurgence, okay? You see no situation where even with Otto Wallin, who was better than both of those guys, you know, Cash Ali and Christian Hammer, you got to understand something. He cut Tyson Fury. He was winning the fight, and Tyson Fury came back and took the fight back, okay? But bottom line is, you didn't see anything really happen with Joe Joyce and Dillian Whyte where they're showing you levels and switching up. He just happened to catch, you know, Joyce just happened to catch, you know, Cash Ali with an uppercut. He went down, and as far as I'm concerned, he purposely waited till the ref was counting 10 and then jumped up, because the way he popped up and he was okay and all, like, he didn't want to fight anymore. Instead of just, you know, it just looked like, you know, bottom line, he didn't want to fight anymore. You know, Christian Hammer just quits. So you basically fought two guys that really didn't come to fight, and you guys didn't show up. Now, what does that tell you? Now, compare their performances to Anthony Joshua's lowest performances, and there's no comparison. Now, compare their last performance to Anthony Joshua's last performance. And if you want to say Wallin, just because he's a more credible boxer than Ngannou, okay, well, let's compare their performances. So is it really hard to understand? And basically, Otto Wallin would beat Cash Ali, and he would beat Christian Hammer. Okay, pretty much, easily. He's much better than both of them. Now, you look at how they looked. Come on, y'all. It's not hard to understand. Okay? So you went in there with the guys that was handpicked, and you still went in there and you looked just as bad as they did. You just happened to get the win. Yeah, so I'm calling it right here, and I'm saying it. Joe Joyce is done. Dillian Whyte is done. Joe Joyce is just waiting to get knocked out again. Dillian Whyte is going to get knocked out again. Now, having the heart to get in there and fight is one thing. That's great. But having the ability to go in there and fight against other elite level guys and win, they're at a point right now in terms of their skill level, puncher's chance, and that's it. Puncher's chance. Elite level, nah, they can't compete anymore. They're both done. You know, the best thing that can happen for Joe Joyce is he fight a guy that has skill but don't punch that hard and then lack stamina, because Joe Joyce coming in there, even fighting the heavier, it doesn't help him. It doesn't matter if he gains weight, lose weight, he's done. And I'm telling you, he's done. You're gonna see. And when it happens, just remember, I'm telling you, they're done. They're both done. All right? They're not elite level guys. And it's not the same as the AJ situation. And like I said, people always talk about you're only good as your last fight. Well, okay then. Enough said. Talk to me in the comment section. Never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hate out of people. And I will catch y'all on the next video.